John Mellencamp is here. He is, as you know, a singer. He is, as you know, a songwriter. And he is, as you know, a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. His career spans nearly 4 decades. Some of his most popular songs have included Hurt So Good, Jack and Diane, and Pink Houses. His passion for the American heartland is well known. Along with Neil Young and Willie Nelson, he co-founded the annual Farm Aid Benefit Concert. This month, the Gothic musically composed Ghost Brothers of Darkland County is hitting East Coast theaters. It is written by Stephen King and directed by T-Bone Burnett. His latest album is called Plain Spoken. The New York Times said about that, the words ponder trouble, power, love, God, freedom, and mortality, the concerns of a songwriter acting his age. I am pleased to have John Mellencamp back at this table. You hear what they just said? This is what the New York Times said. As I just read, they said, the words ponder trouble, power, love, God, freedom, and mortality, the concerns of a songwriter acting his age.
Well, that's important.
Yeah, to act your age.
It's important to act your age, yeah. I learned that lesson when in the late 80s. It's a funny story. I went to see James Brown when I was, 1966, 65. Charlie, he was unbelievable. I mean, it was just he was on fire. I went to see him in the late 80s, early 90s, and he tried to do the splits, and they had to come and help him up.
Oh, my God.
And I thought to myself, if my career ever lasts that long, remember to act your age. Because you don't want to be doing the splits on stage and having
somebody come and help you get up.
Yeah. But he taught me a big lesson, It's like, okay, you were that when you were 25,
right,
and you'll be this at 45, and you'll be this at 65, and
right,
if you have a career that lasts that long, it's important to act your age.
But you have had a career that's lasted that long, and it continues.
Well, I try to not look back at what I did when I was 35 and look forward to what I'm going to do when I'm 65, and not get caught up with, what people expect me to do or not do or look. I always say to people, they say, "Are you John Mellencamp?" And I always go, "Yeah." And I go, you were probably expecting a much younger version. Because, people see these records, they see the album covers, and that's what they remember.
Why do you call it Plain Spoken? Because it is. Because it is,
and that name has been around for a long time. Yeah. My friend Tim White, who died, who was the editor of Billboard magazine years ago, in 1988, I made a record, and he said, "Let's call it Plain Spoken." And I said, "No, it didn't work." So the title always just kind of hung around in my head, and finally I made a record that I thought was suitable for that title.
What has my friend T-Bone Burnett done for you?
T-Bone and I have made, I think, 3 or 4 records together. And
this one?
Yes, he executive produced that one.
Because you're producing it.
Well, he's busy, He would come down and check in on us and go, change this, change that, do this, do that.
And would you listen?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Occasionally. Charlie, you know me. I don't talk to me when I'm not listening, right?
You have always stayed in Indiana.
Right.
You? I mean, no West Coast, East Coast for John Mellencamp. Home is in the Heartland.
Well, I always figured I'd be a little bit better off keeping to myself. I've never really been part of anything. Never really been part of the music business. Never been part of any established, The only thing I've ever been a part of is Farm Aid, really.
Yeah. Neil was just here.
I love Neil.
I do too. God, I love him.
He's a great guy. He's a great guy.
Man of the heart.
Yeah. And a sweet guy, and I always enjoy seeing Neil.
Listen to the side A, Troubled Man, Sometimes There's God, The Isolation of Mister, The Company of Cowards, Tears in Vain. Side B, The Brass Ring, Freedom of Speech, Blue Charlotte, The Courtesy of Kings and Lawless Times. Troubled Man. What's that?
Well, I'm going to play that here in a second.
I know you are.
And Troubled Man was an idea that came to me. I tried to write the song originally in 1991, but I just wasn't mature enough to write it yet. You get to be a certain age, and you start coming into, realizations about yourself and things you've done and things you wish you hadn't done, and you kind of start taking stock in who you are. And
what are your regrets?
I don't really have any regrets.
Okay, you're just saying.
I'm just saying that, you do stuff, and, it's kind of like that Frank Capra movie, It's a Wonderful Life,
Yes.
What would it be without George, And I think you start looking at your life of the good things you've done for people and the things you've done that may have hurt people.
Why Troubled Man?
Why Troubled Man?
Yeah.
I would say that if you knew the song, you would say, John, you wrote this about me.
Yeah.
Because it's about
most of us, huh?
Yes, small things that most men, I think, in our age bracket, have experienced and felt, and I think the song covers that topic.
John Mellencamp, this is from Rolling Stone, has spent nearly a 40-year career figuring out exactly where he fits in the American grain, and he's never inhabited traditional folk and blues imbued settings as personally as this, his 22nd album. Is that true? Does that ring true to you? Has never inhabited traditional folk and blues imbued settings as personally as he has on this 22nd album.
I don't even know what they're talking about, Charles. I don't even know what they're talking about. Because the truth of the matter is that, if you're a songwriter, your head just becomes, when I was a young songwriter, John Mellencamp was always in the way. Because I would say, I want to write a song about this. And then when it would start to go someplace else, I'd bring it back. Yeah. But as I've gotten older, I just let the songs go where they want to go. I just get out of my own way and let the thoughts come in, because they're kind of songwriting is kind of channeled. It kind of comes into your brain, and if you try to guide it, then you're kind of getting in the way. So after all these years, I've learned to get out of my own way, let the song go where it wants to go, and be happy for the happy surprise of what you've just written. Sometimes, Charlie, it happens so quick that I don't even barely have time to write it down.
Here's what you say in Troubled Man. Too late came too early for me to face myself.
I think that's pretty true for everybody. When our life finds trouble, we don't want to deal with that too much, and keeping secrets and keeping ourselves at bay and dealing with who we are seems to be pretty common business for the human race. And so, that's just a global statement.
Do you study other songwriters? You look at them and figure out what they're doing and see what you have to learn from them?
Oh, I'm always learning stuff from people. But my biggest question is, I hear something, I go, how did they do that? I'm always, at 63 years old, I'm still amazed of the magic that some people can produce, and I still love music, and I still am in awe of, like, wow, how did they do that?
But they're in awe of you for the same reason.
Yeah, but you don't really think about that stuff.
I know. I hear you. You're not thinking about yourself. I hear you, but they are. But what do great songwriters have?
What do they have?
Yeah.
I think
what separates good from great?
I think great songwriters have the ability to realize that there's always another song. And some people think, oh, I've written, I had a guy once ask me, a very famous songwriter asked me, he said, John, have you ever had a writing block? Yeah. And I went, I won't mention his name, but I just said, man, look out the window. There is so much to write about. How could you possibly have a writing block? I couldn't possibly cover all the topics that I feel I need to write about if I just wrote every day, day in, day out.
What do you do every day in, day out? You're on the road now. Or you can be on the road from January through September or so.
January through August. Right. Yeah. What do I do every day? If I'm at home?
Yeah.
I paint.
Oh, yeah.
I paint. I get up. I paint. I start painting at 9. I quit painting at 7. I have dinner.
All day you paint?
I paint all day. Yeah, somebody brings my food up to me at lunch. I eat, I paint, and then I watch the nightly news, and then I talk on the telephone, do business, and then it's
dinner.
Yeah, you know, in Indiana, there's not a lot of places to go have dinner. You know, it's not like New York where you go out to dinner with people. You just kind of have dinner, and then you know, talk on the phone, do some business, and go to bed and do it again the next day.
You have said, and you may have said this to my colleague at CBS, Anthony Mason, you don't expect...
He was a nice guy.
He is a great guy.
Nice guy.
And he gets music like few people do.
Guy.
Tell us about it, what you told him about spina bifida.
Well, you know, I had spina bifida, when I was born with it in 1951, they really didn't have any idea what to do with kids with spina bifida. They just let them lay there and die, basically. And they had 3 kids at Riley's Hospital at the same time that I had it. And they went to my parents and they said, look, this kid's going to die if we don't try something. Do you mind if we try? And they said, well, if his choice is death or trying, try. So they operated on all 3 kids. 1 kid died on the table. The girl made it till she was about 14, and she was in a wheelchair her entire life. And me, I didn't even know I had it till I was 10 or 11, and some kid came up to me at school and goes, what's that big scar across your neck? And, you know, I can't see the back of my neck. So I went home and asked my parents. I said, you know, what's this big scar across? I got a hand mirror, you know, start looking around.
Yeah, but I mean, this is a story about a heroic doctor, too.
Yeah, and so anyway, my parents just downplayed it. They said, oh, don't worry about it. So as I got older, you know, I started realizing, you know, what a miracle it was that I was alive. But this young doctor just tried this experimental surgery that just worked on me, and consequently became like the first step in dealing with spina bifida. You know, Charlie, this is 1951. They operated with people with pinking shears and screwdrivers. You know, think about it.
Incredible.
Well, the doctor's a great guy, but he looked at me and he goes, what's your faith, John? The guy's like 96 years old now. I go, I don't have much faith sometimes. And that's all he wanted to talk to me about was faith. Faith. You know, you of all people should have faith.
Is a song going to come out of this?
Probably.
Probably, yes.
I don't know. Anything is, you know, Charlie, if it's out there, it's available, you know, even if it's been written. Yeah. It's mine.
And as Bill Murray said to me on this program, you got to be alert and available.
That's right.
Alert and available.
That's exactly right. He's exactly right.
Why do you think that you won't write any more hits?
I don't think that that's available. Radio is so different than what it used to be. I'm above the age, and if you listen to what's on the radio today, has nothing to do with what I started to do or with what, you know, Neil Young does. We're just not in that field of music anymore.
Yeah, but you still have a good life.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to tour.
Yeah. Listen,
Neil's on a tour.
Listen, Charlie.
Neil's now painting too. Wait a minute. You know, there are a lot of similarities here.
He is?
Yeah.
He got that from me.
Dylan did too, probably.
Yeah, those guys are always copying me. These guys don't have original thoughts.
But so, does a song come to you? Does a lyric come, or does a music come?
It all comes together for me. Generally,
you hear both at the same time. Or?
Yeah, you know, the idea. And like I said, you know, it just comes and you start writing, and I can't even keep up with it. You know, so it's nothing I've thought about. It's something I'm working with a guy on Ghost Brothers right now who's a writer, and not Steve, but there's another writer doing transition, and he has to think about it. He said, "I'll come back in 2 days and I'll have that." I went, "No. We need it in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We don't not in 2 days. Now.
We need it now."
Yeah. So, you know, all different people have different processes.
How's your health?
You know, good as can be expected for, you know,
64-year-old man.
63-year-old man. Let's don't be adding a bunch of age here, Charlie. Every year counts, you know, for a guy who has been probably smoked 10 million cigarettes.
Have you stopped?
No.
Why don't you?
Why don't I what?
Stop smoking.
Charlie, it's the only thing I do well.
Okay.
You don't want to mess with it.
You are hopeless.
Yeah, I guess.
You know.
It's the only thing I do well.
You know, easy to be with?
No. I'm impossible to deal with.
Why? What is it makes you impossible?
I have been in a rock band since I was 14.
Yes.
And I do things my way. I wrote it in a song a long time ago. I do things my way, and I pay an awfully high price. And that's the price I pay because, you know, I'm not a very good collaborator. I don't play well with the other kids. So, you know, when you bring that home or into a relationship, it doesn't really work so good. You know that, Charlie. I'm not going to throw myself up.
Bring me in there.
I'm not going to throw myself under the bus without bringing you down with me.
Okay, no more of this, okay?
Right.
Have you heard of Spotify?
Yes, I know all about Spotify. If you want to get into the internet with me, then I can, because
I know you can.
What happened and what should have happened with the internet is that the internet should have been treated as just another delivery system. But everybody acted like it was a miracle. But it was the same miracle as radio. So the record companies should have come forward and go, whoop, wait a minute, Google, Yahoo, you guys, you can't have this lawless land here where people can do this and do that. You know, you can't do that. But if they would have treated it the same way as they treated radio or television, we would still have intellectual property that wasn't considered, you know, to be free to everyone. But it was the lackadaisical attitude and confusion of people who control intellectual property that let it get away. So consequently, what we have is, if somebody was to ask me, should I become a songwriter, my answer is no. There's no way for you to make any money. There's no way to make a living.
But the genie's out of the bottle.
That's right. That's right. And they'll say, well, we pay, you know, listen, I've got to get like 1 million plays on some of these little places to make 16 cents. Really? I'm going to make 16 cents.
1 million plays to get 16 cents.
Make 16 cents.
Yeah.
That's the kind of pay they have.
Is there some place where you can go online to the internet and see your paintings?
Well, you know, I've always looked at my paintings as a hobby for the last 40 years. But now I have a gallery here in New York.
Do you really?
Yeah, it's ACA Gallery.
ACA?
Yeah.
So you can go there and see your paintings?
Yeah.
I'll be there. Plain Spoken is a new album by the incomparable John Mellencamp, part of the American Songbook. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Pleasure to have you.
It's always good seeing you, Charlie. It's always good to be seen.
Yes, it is. As we go out, Troubled Man by John Mellencamp. See you next time.
It's the wake of all evil, the universal mix. I've always found trouble, even at my best. No hopes to get better till they put me down to rest. I am a troubled man. Anxiety and sorrow underneath my skin. Self-destruction and failure have beat my head in. I laughed out loud once, I won't do that again. I always traveled the hellfire road to chase the sweet smell of sin. I am a troubled man. 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 So many things have fall through my hands. I am a troubled man. People live on the east side, people on gravel road. People love many colors, stories will never be told. Too late came too early for me to face myself. I am a troubled man. I am a troubled man. I am a troubled man, oh Lord. I won't do anything to hurt you if I can.